So looking at our topics for today, we did file structure for a website. There's a little bit more about that, but it comes up as we go through these other topics. So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. Cascading means it's across the whole website. Style means that it's the appearance. And sheet, it's because it's typed up as a sheet, as we'll see in a minute. But tell us a little bit about the significance of CSS when you're doing web design.
So what CSS allows you to do is it allows you to design how you want the information that you typed up from your HTML, how it's going to be displayed on, this very website. You can change everything from the background color of it to the type of fonts you use to where you want a banner to be specifically located at. As you can see here, when you open a purely HTML file, you'll see that you have your pages and then you have a banner, but everything's located to the left, how you would read a book. And so if you wanted to move the banner up top here to the middle, that's where CSS comes in.
Okay, yeah, and like maybe set a nice repeating background, and maybe like these buttons are, I mean, it's kind of cool if this is your first website ever, but you never see this kind of thing on the internet.
Correct.
So changing all that stuff we can do through CSS. Great. Let's see. So in order for CSS and HTML to work together, we had to actually edit some HTML and create a CSS sheet. So why don't you walk us through that next step of the project?
Yeah, so we're going to go back to our folder here. And like I mentioned before, we're going to open these 4 pages: About Me, Interview, Looking Forward, and My Leader. We're not going to touch index or splash for this video.
Okay.
So you're going to open that. You can right click it and press edit with Notepad++, and you can go ahead and do the same for the others.
Cool, and I'm noticing Notepad++, it's a text editor. It's nice that it opens up in these 4 different tabs to easily navigate through your files as you edit them.
Yep.
Cool.
So then the first step is that we have our 4 HTML pages, and so we need to link them to a specific CSS file. So then what we can do is you can go to File, you can go to New, and then once that is open, we can go to File again, Save As. And so you want to make sure that you're saving in the folder that you're working on.
Okay.
And then we're going to call this style.css.
Okay, so we have to actually create that file first for us to link to it. Sure.
And then we're going to save it, and then it's already created. So then what we have to do now is that we have to indicate in each HTML page that we're linking it to this specific CSS file.
Okay.
So then you're gonna go ahead and find where you see head,
Okay.
and then you can see here that there is a space for you to enter that specific information.
Sure.
So AJ, if you want to explain as I type up the linking to the CSS files.
Yeah, that'd be great. So I'll let you get started a little bit. So Josue is typing link, and so what's happening is that one CSS file, style.css, all of the code we type in there will actually be applied to every page that has this line of code that Josue is typing right now. This is extremely useful because right now we have 4 pages, but just imagine, I mean, that's useful enough. Imagine you have a website that has hundreds of pages. They exist. By all of them just having this line of code, link, rel, style sheet, type, text, CSS, href, style.css, there's actually no code for CSS here. It's just referring to a page with all the code on it. What's nice about that is you could redesign your entire website by just changing one file, and every other page that's got this text here will be affected by that. This is also nice for debugging, so if you don't quite like where something's placed and you got to change it by 1 little pixel or 1 little percentage point, it's easy to just keep playing with that, and it applies it to all the pages. It's this really nice feeling when you get to the end of your web design when all of a sudden all the work you've done, just it looks horrible, it looks horrible, it looks horrible, you're not happy, you change that one little thing, you add that semicolon, save, and bam, everything is perfect. It's working across the board. So you have this line of text, and let's just see what happens.
So
now,
what you did first is that you saved it.
Yeah, oh, sorry, yes. It's so easy to just do things. Thanks. So I hit Control S to save, and we haven't put it in these other websites or web pages yet. I was hoping you could type a little bit of the code or copy and paste it so we can see what it looks like in the About Me page before we apply it to the others so we can easily compare.
Yeah, so then we're going to go ahead and type a little bit of CSS code.
Okay.
And so one of the first things we will do is that we will indicate the type of font that we will be using. So even though it's not gonna show up right away, it will show up later on.
Okay.
And so the first thing is you indicate what you're editing, and then you're gonna press curly brackets, and then you're gonna indicate the type of font that you will be using.
And I'm noticing, and you're all probably noticing, whatever Josue types in TextPad Plus or Notepad++, it kind of helps out. So if you type double quotes, all of a sudden the other double quote appears and your cursor's right in the middle. He just did it with parentheses. So you'll have to get used to that because it's almost like autocorrect on a phone. It kind of jumps out at you as being annoying at first, and then it becomes super helpful once you can understand and predict it. Everything, do you mind just writing a few more definitions?
Yep, I'll write a few more.
Everything Josue is writing in CSS, and we'll get into more CSS later, but he's figuring out I'm going to steal the mouse. He's figuring out a line of code that is called a selector. So it calls out a part of the HTML code in some way. And then through curly brackets, we can list multiple lines of definitions for that. So our body is everything we see on a web browser, just underneath where you can see like the URL and the navigation buttons of the browser. And then he's got a background image set. He's doing a background size now. And he'll do a bunch of different things and then end it with a curly bracket. And so what CSS is, essentially, is selecting a portion of your code, giving it instructions on how it should be dealt with on your website, and that makes your website unique from all the rest on the internet. So maybe we'll wrap it up with wrap.
Okay.
How much do you got to do for that one?